Hello guys, welcome here to another edition of Out of Turn 4. Today's March 15th, I'm Brian here. Coming up, we're going to discuss the last race on the NASCAR West Coast Swing. We will also discuss a lot of news headlines that have broken in the last week and a half that maybe I have or have not gotten to. And then, of course, we'll have our race weekend picks. But, of course, for the first time here on Out of Turn 4, we will talk ARCA Racing. Of course, the reason we're bringing up this story, if you haven't been following the news early last week, unfortunately, the driver of the David Gilliland Racing trailer was killed in a multi-vehicle accident. Our thoughts and prayers are with the driver of the vehicle, unfortunately. And of course, all those involved, our thoughts and prayers are with them, as well as our deepest sympathies from Tinkle Sports and Entertainment. I don't exactly know the names. I haven't really read too much into it. It's unfortunate. It's sad to say, but obviously terrible to see what happened. Taylor Gray, David Gilliland Racing, they decided, well, we're still going to race despite what happened, and Taylor Gray ended up coming away with the win for David Gilliland Racing. So congratulations to Taylor Gray. What a way to get the win over at Phoenix for his ARCA team. Shifting gears though now to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and of course Noah Gragson, he is the winner of the Phoenix race. It is his first win this season and his sixth career win. This could bode well for him. Keep in mind last year he got off to a slow start, picked it up late in the year, looked like he might be a threat for the championship, and this very well could put him in the race for the title this season. Of course, getting off to that first win right away, very good for his team, very good for him, very good for confidence, and we'll see if he carries it forward. Of course, this year he might just be poised to finally break out and prove maybe why he should be promoted to the Cup level. Plenty of season still to go. It's still to be determined, but I figure I'd just throw that out there. Another first-time winner in the NASCAR Cup Series, and of course it is Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe finally breaks through, gets his first career Cup win at Phoenix. Congratulations to him. And should we note, Ross Chastain has been on quite a hot streak lately. He finished third at Las Vegas. He finishes second at Phoenix. He's looking like he's going to break through and somehow make the playoffs. But again, still a long season. Good runs for Ross Chastain. Of course, congratulations to Chase Briscoe. To be honest, I knew he was capable of winning races. Certainly losing practices hurt that 14 team last year in his rookie year. But for Briscoe to win, it's huge. Of course, he had 9 Xfinity wins before getting promoted to Cup. And he's finally showing why he was picked for that ride, and I'm certain this is not the first time we've seen him in victory lane, and the only time this year we'll see him in there. He's a really strong driver, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him back very soon. And again, for Ross Chastain, he's knocking on the door of a victory. We've mentioned, I think last week, he's a guy that can easily outperform his equipment. But I'm telling you, Team Trackhouse has really put in the effort. The first 4 races so far, they have really gone out of their way, put in the best effort to get ready for the next gen car, and it's paying off. They're looking really strong to start the season. If it's not Ross Chastain, it's Daniel Suarez, or it's both of them in some cases, or if it's not Suarez, it's Ross Chastain, but nonetheless, it seems like it's a great pairing. It seems like it's a great team effort right now, so hopefully they can keep it up as the season goes along. We'll see. Again, a long season still to go. We got 21 races still until we make the playoffs, so that's something to keep in mind. Let's shift over to the news now. Kevin Magnussen, he will return to F1. Magnussen will replace Nikita Mazepin over at Haas F1. I would have rather seen Magnussen stay in the States, but it's great to see him get another opportunity with Haas, and certainly to bring a veteran presence to help with Mick Schumacher's development. It's a good thing, but again, I kind of wish Magnussen stayed in the States because I think he could have had a very successful career either in IndyCar or IMSA. I feel like he could have won races. I just don't think, that test session, look, test sessions are one thing, races are another. I don't care what anybody says. And to me, the competition gap is still very far apart in F1, where I just don't know if he's going to get points this year. I mean, he might break through and get one race with points, but it's very rare that teams like that get anywhere close to victories. I just don't think I can see him being that competitive. Whereas, again, IMSA or IndyCar, I feel like he could be a week-to-week threat for wins. So, again, but for the sake of Mick Schumacher, I think this is good. Another F1 story, I forgot to add it to here. Colton Herta was signed to a development contract with McLaren. Of course, this comes a week after the news about Michael Andretti still pushing to own an F1 team, hopefully by 2024. Again, you know my thoughts on F1, but I encourage Colton Herta to chase his dreams. However, I wish he would stay in the States, of course, running in IndyCar, because I feel like he's on the verge. He's knocking on the door for a championship. Maybe not, again, I don't know about this year. He might. It's going to come down to consistency for him, but I feel like he will definitely be a threat. He will be one of the 4 or 5 in the battle at the end of the year. If you saw my IndyCar season preview, again, personally, I just don't think he could compete at that level in F1. I don't think to be honest, I just don't see him succeeding at the F1 ranks. So, anyway, we'll stick to open wheel, actually. I'm going to call an audible here. We'll stick to open wheel. Of course, many of you may have, may not have. I know I did. I submitted a survey for IndyCar. And if you saw it on motorsport.com, I believe ran the survey for IndyCar to try to get a gauge of what fans want to see in the future. And if I'm not mistaken, post-race shows was one of them. And finally, IndyCar will get its own post-race show. Unfortunately, here's where the downside is. Peacock will be hosting the post-race show. Oh boy, I don't like this. Okay, again, I get TV time is hard to buy or hard to sell, but I wish they would just keep it on NBC, and I just don't get it, I mean, IndyCar has always been treated second rate. NBC really hasn't done, to me, NBC hasn't done enough in terms of getting the sport on a bigger platform. I mean, putting it on the mainstream network is great on NBC, free cable, but they can do more. That's my opinion. I feel like they can do more, but they're lazy. They're being lazy. That's just my way about it. I think certainly this is a good sign for the future. I'd love to see them put more effort into pre-race and post-race shows. I wish they did a little bit more of a pre-race show at St. Petersburg a few weeks ago, but, and I've said this for years. Personally, IndyCar should have gotten a 1-hour pre-race show, if not a half hour. Or not even a half hour. They should have gotten an hour. I'm sorry. They should have gotten an hour at St. Pete for the pre-race show to cover all the changes that came from the past season, recap practices, whatever you have to do, interview drivers, again, I feel like they can put in more effort like they do with NASCAR, and I feel like they could do it right away. Um, you know, they're doing a good job doing side by side. No complaints there. They should be doing the full race commercial free, but that's not going to happen. Never going to happen. Not on mainstream media, not on mainstream networks. Again, of all races, though, why do a post race at Texas? There's literally no highlights anybody's going to want to see because Texas puts on the worst show in IndyCar all year. So I'll just leave it at that. But as far as Texas goes, as we stay on the open wheel side of things, Milwaukee is back in the running to possibly take an IndyCar race away from Texas. And if you know my opinions on Texas, do it. Do it 100%. Okay, you don't have, again, the track president, Goslin, or whatever his name is, Eddie Gossage, he's gone. He's out of the picture. Do it now. Don't sign another deal with Texas, okay? NASCAR has ruined Texas, and to be honest, the Texas track is just boring in general. I don't want to watch. I won't be watching this weekend. Again, I'm not trying to be one of those Twitter people that's like, I'm not watching this. It's not, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm serious. I won't be watching. Plain simple. I think Texas is the worst track on the IndyCar schedule. And it's a shame because I'm the one who's also said I'd love to see more ovals. I don't want Texas being one of those ovals anymore. I certainly hope they'll look at Homestead, Milwaukee. I've even said Pocono because, again, great market. It was making gains, and then they pulled out of Pocono. So, yeah, needless to say, I would love to see Milwaukee back. I'd love to, like I said, Milwaukee, Homestead, Pocono, those are 3 tracks I'd love to see back on the schedule because I think they deserve a race date, especially over Texas. I think Texas is not, I don't care, personally, I don't give 2 craps about ticket sales at Texas. You could tell me Texas sells the best of any oval, outside of Indy, of course. You could tell me Texas outsells a bunch of the road courses. I'll tell you, I don't give a crap. Okay, I give a crap about the quality of the racing, and Texas quality has been god-awful. You want to race in Texas? Go race at Circuit of the Americas. Okay, that simple. Go race there. Don't be racing at Texas anymore. I've made my opinions very clear on that in the past, and I'm not afraid to take a few minutes out of my time right now to do it. Moving ahead, though, J.R. Hildebrand, yes, you've heard that name before if you recall, he crashed into the wall at the Indianapolis 500, which led to Dan Weldon's second Indy 500 win and his final career win before his death. Rest in peace to Dan, of course. But J.R. Hildebrand, he is back in IndyCar. He'll be running all the ovals for A.J. Foyt Racing in the number 11. Good for the team, honestly. Good for A.J. Foyt because JR is a good driver. He deserves a shot to run at least some races. I feel like Texas he could be competitive at. I feel like Indy he's been competitive at in the past. He's been on the verge of winning races there. You know, I mean, yeah, he wrecks a little bit, but honestly, he's got the skill to be running with these guys. And on top of it, a veteran driver. He's going to give good feedback to Kyle Kirkwood and especially to Dalton Kellett. He can certainly help both those drivers develop and hone in on their skill set. So, again, a good signing for A.J. Foyt Racing. Moving ahead, of course, the Cup Series. I want to talk for a few minutes about the Cup Series and, of course, the ratings. Of course, the past few weeks, the Cup Series has topped weekend ratings. I don't know about this past weekend, but I know about the last 2. They have topped the ratings in terms of sports over the weekend. This means they topped the NBA, they topped college basketball, They topped everything, I guess is the best way to put it. So ultimately, they did a good job. To me, it's a testament. It's a testament to the next gen car. They've worked very hard on this. And so far, every highlight I've seen, I haven't been able to really watch Sunday races, unfortunately. I'm working most of the day on Sunday. But everything I've seen, the racing looks great. It looks amazing. I'm upset I'm not watching the races live. I'm very upset about it. But everything I've seen, the racing's good. There's parity. Again, we talked about Ross Chastain at the beginning of the show, how competitive he's been this year. Chase Briscoe, I don't think that's a shocker because we all knew what Chase Briscoe was capable of when he moved up to the Cup level. But, Daniel Suarez has been good. Tyler Reddick is looking pretty sharp so far. But there's parity. It's not the same 5 guys competing at the top of the boards every single weekend. Of course, the wheels are a big issue. I'm not going to shy away from that. I think that's been a unanimous poll so far. If you look at Twitter, I'm pretty sure that's a unanimous comment. Same thing with Facebook. It's unanimous. Fans don't like the new wheels. And rightfully so. There's too many issues with them. If you pop a tire, you're out of the race, basically. But the bodies are so much stronger. They can take more of a beating. Again, so much more parity. I think that's great for the sport. I've hardly seen any negative comments so far. And the ones that are making the negative comments are the ones that refuse to evolve and adapt to the sport. They're the ones that are stuck in their ways. And you want to know what? I wish you would open your eyes and be a little bit more open because, again, I'm probably talking to a brick wall when I say this. I wish fans would be a little bit more open to change and be more accepting of it instead of staying in the past. Because, we gotta evolve. And, you're watching probably the best racing in NASCAR that we've seen in the last, 15 years. Arguably, probably since 06, 07. I don't know for sure, but to me, this is some of the best racing I've ever seen as a NASCAR fan, and I love it. And again, I can't stress enough, I'm mostly an IndyCar fan, but to see what's going on in NASCAR right now, it's great. We might have 16 different winners. Not going to lie there. We could have 16 different winners by the end of this 26 races. I wouldn't be surprised. We could see a whole new favorite in the playoffs. That's a possibility. Because each team is at a level playing field. I mean, the back markers, Rick Ware Racing has looked strong so far compared to last year. I've seen Denny Hamlin struggle. Toyota's not as good as they were with the Gen 6. They're not as strong so far. They're going to get it together, and when they do, it's going to be scary. But for now, right at this moment, it's a Chevy and Ford thing. And it's not the Chevy teams that you'd expect to be dominating. I mean, yeah, Kyle Larson won a race. Ford's won 3 out of the 4, I believe. But yeah, there's parity. And that's what I think is great about it. Any driver on any given Sunday, which is what it should be. I'm sorry. You can debate this with me, but I think it should be any given Sunday, any given driver can go out there and win. And speaking of that, we might see that this weekend. I'm going to get to my NASCAR picks in a moment, but I want to kick it off with IndyCar at Texas for the picks. I'm picking Joseph Newgarden. He's won there before. I think he can do it again. And Penske's looking stronger since they downsized to 3 cars. So I like Joseph Newgarden this weekend. Truck Series, the first race at the Atlanta Superspeedway. Ask me on next Tuesday how I felt about this, because I'm probably going to be watching this weekend. I am off on Sunday, so I might be watching a little bit of this race. But as far as the Truck Series, Ryan Preece is my pick to win. Again, he's got experience. I feel like this is a track where he could break through and get that second career Truck Series victory with David Gilliland Racing. Xfinity Series in Atlanta, if this does play out like a super speedway, this will greatly benefit Kaulig Racing, because Kaulig Racing is too good on super speedways. So that is why I think this is the weekend AJ Allmendinger breaks through and gets his first win of the Xfinity Series season. I wouldn't even be shocked to see Landon Castle in this. Landon Castle, the last few races, slowly improved. He might get there. Maybe even Daniel Hemrick, but I think it'll be one of those three in the running. And as far as the Truck Series, going back to that, I wouldn't even be shocked to see Ross Chastain running up front. He will be running this weekend for Nissan Motorsports in the 41 truck. Alright, Cup Series, Atlanta. We're going to see the first watermelon smash we've seen in 3 years. Ross Chastain will get his first Cup Series victory. Again, Trackhouse has gotten stronger every single week. They seem to be adapting well to this next-gen car, and I feel like this is a weekend we will finally see Ross Chastain back in victory lane. And on top of it, I believe he's the only Cup driver pulling double duty this weekend. So, even more of an advantage for Ross as we enter the race weekend of unknowns at the new Atlanta Superspeedway. Alright, thanks guys for watching. We will see you next Tuesday. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day. And until then, goodbye everyone.